The 5th of April, the last day of the Easter weekend. And this video is about something that's, I've always tried to avoid it, but in this country, as in most parts of the world, politics is something you cannot avoid. It's like a bottle. Some of those bottles, you can't miss them. So politics plays a role in everybody's life every day. And especially here in South Africa, where we've always had a democracy, or so they say, where the majority rules, but by the same token, we've now got a government of national unity. And I don't know how it's working for you. It's not really working for me, because I look at things with my eyes and I think to myself, how is this government of national unity? How is it really benefiting us, making things better, changing things positively? But I can't see it. Like the same with coalition politics. I can't see how coalition politics, especially on municipal level, actually works for us. Because we've got all of a sudden, we've got still the big parties, the giants, the Goliaths, and then we've got some smaller parties, some Davids, who's trying to change things, I trust, for the better. But it's not really working, not as far as I can see. And this video is about the most recent case of where the opposition came out in Nelson Mandela Bay, which is a beautiful city. I might sound like Donald Trump, but I'm not him. Although we've got a slight resemblance maybe in the hair. But there were two motions. It's the first time in the history of Nelson Mandela Bay or Port Elizabeth, or like I sort of fondly refer to it lately as Dubai, because we all come from Dubai. But things are not working really. It's the first time in the history of Port Elizabeth that there's two motions of no confidence against the mayor. And guess what? Only in South Africa. She survives both. And I'm wondering to myself, how is it possible? With a track record of this ANC and DA-led local government. The DA's got 48 seats. There's a dual whammy, a double whammy. Two motions of confidence. And there's only apparently, from what I've heard and understand, there's only 7 members on such an important day to bring change about. There's only 7 DA councillors that's there to vote. Now the ex-mayor, Retief Odendaal, still DA, still working his butt off trying to get like things working, complaining like hell. If you watch his videos on social media. And even this lady in the video I'm going to show you, a spokeswoman for the DA in the Eastern Cape. Besides what they're saying, I wonder where Retief was. Was he one of the 7? Was he one of those that voted? Who may know?
Next to me, Retief Odendaal. Sir, thank you so much for your time. Just the first question on my side, why do opposition parties, including parties that are part of the coalition of your own party, want to table a motion of no confidence against you?
Well, first of all, I must make it very clear that we're currently governing in a 10-party coalition government. It is the biggest coalition that's ever been put together in South Africa. So it was never going to be an easy coalition. The ANC and the EFF has approached 1 or 2 of our coalition partners and made them offers. They made the Northern Alliance an offer of the mayorship, and notwithstanding the fact that they only have 3 seats in council. The reality is that it was never going to be easy to keep such a big coalition together, but we've made significant progress in Nelson Mandela Bay. And we are confident that we will get all of the political parties to give their support 100% back to the current coalition government, and that they will not be fooled by the ANC and the EFF that wants to hijack City Hall again via the back door.
But they still lose this. They still lose it. By a small margin. But most importantly, they lose it. Now, what does this say to you? You as the voter, you who put your confidence in a specific party to form a coalition. And remember, this is on the lowest form of governance, municipal governance. You put your faith in the system. Besides the elections coming up in November, and they can't even pull this off. What does it mean for us? What does it mean for us, the taxpayers, the people who live in this city, the people who loves this city, who wants this city to actually rise to the point where it actually belongs? This city where basic services are not even delivered. And there's always excuses. But this motion of confidence started, it sounds like it's like a double-edged sword. The one is about a 25 million rand generator that was leased to Cougar Steel, while our electrical supply system is basically collapsing. And secondly, about this Ms. Lobishe, our mayor, because Gary van Niekerk stepped off. He's now apparently, he's in the shadows. He used to be the mayor. But looking at Gary van Niekerk as well, he was part of the coalition. under Retief Voordendal. And he basically sold out back to the ANC. And now we've got Ms. Lubishe in this time of crisis. And she's hardly staying above water, but she's a proud woman. She wants to convince us at any given time that she's the best thing since sliced bread. So this is what this video is about. Look and listen for yourself. Make your own opinion, because remember, election time is just around the corner.
Let's talk about now the failed motion of no confidence in the mayor, Barbara Lobishe, which was tabled by the ACDP, FF Plus, and the Good Party yesterday, citing ongoing service delivery failures such as power outages, water disruptions, and concerns over the leasing of a 25 million rand municipal transformer. The council meeting comes as large parts of the metro remain without electricity due to collapsed pylons along the Arlington line. Joining us now, there you can see her on your screen, is DA's Nelson Mandela Bay caucus spokesperson, Siyasanga Sijatu. Good evening, and thank you for your time. So the motion of no confidence didn't pass, and I think it was the second one, and you'll correct me if I'm wrong. Why were you not able to see it through and have it supported by enough members if the concern about service delivery is that grave?
Good evening, and good evening to the viewers. I think perhaps context would be very important in this regard. Firstly, we are a city that's ran through coalitions, and because there was no outright winner in the 2021 elections, so essentially you have an ANC that's leading a coalition with the EFF and other smaller parties. So ANC does not have a history of removing its mayors in Nelson Mandela Bay. And unfortunately, we did not have the numbers yesterday, and thus both motions collapsed. So we are currently there. It is quite unfortunate. It is quite unfortunate that this coalition government keeps a mayor in council who displayed for national television that she is incompetent, and unfortunately she has no future vision for this city.
There seems to be a problem, and it's once again politics that basically sort of reigns supreme here. That is very, very clear, because we've got a coalition with a 48% stake by the Democratic Alliance, despite criticism of Lobishe's leadership by parliamentarians last week. Two no confidence motions aimed at ousting Nelson Mandela Bay Mayor Lobishe failed in Tuesday's council meeting when most councillors voted against him. Lobishe was also cleared of any wrongdoing by the ANC's Provincial Integrity Commission. A cloud has been hanging over her head since early February. A negative finding from the PIC could have derailed Lobishe's political future. Both the motions and the integrity probe stems from a case opened in January by the former Good Party leader Siyanda Mayana, linked to the controversial leasing of a 25 million rand municipal transformer to Cougar Steels last year.
In 2025, the Democratic Alliance brought forward this matter in council, citing that the previous acting city manager, Ted Pillay, leased a transformer to a private company without getting approval from council. Current Mayor Babawa Lobishe says this practice is common in the metro. However, this specific matter is currently in court.
But what is interesting is that in this instant, the motion's submission was further motivated by the collapse of high voltage electricity transmission pylons last year and even this year, which plunged this city, the metro, into absolute darkness for weeks. and the water crisis affecting the city. Now, the one thing you must understand is that when the electricity in Nelson Mandela Bay, and I believe in many metros and also municipalities, when the electricity fails, normally water has to be pumped into reservoirs, which you need electricity for. And then it becomes simply problematic. So the two actually feeds off each other.
All right, we've now going to focus on the story. Residents of Nelson Mandela Bay in the Eastern Cape, after feeling the brunt of the power outages, as at the moment they are left without water as well. The residents are getting used to life without electricity. Now, the other challenge they are facing is dry taps. The power outages have impacted pumps in the metro's water reservoirs, and a number of areas in Gqeberha have been plunged into darkness following the collapse of 2 electrical towers. We've got the mayor with us, the Nelson Mandela Metro Mayor, Babalwa Lobishe. Mayor, thank you. Thank you very much for your time. You yourself are going through major issues. You don't have water or lights at your residence. Perhaps we can begin. We don't have too much time, so I'm just going to ask you to sort of get as much as we can in. How dire and far spread is the situation?
Well, this situation has affected 9 wards in our city and in the western side of town. And the situation, we are trying to manage it as much as possible. And I think with the help of our private contractors, we managed to bring back the towers. Out of the 6 towers that were supposed to be installed, we've replaced them with monopoles, and all 6 are up this morning. So today it's a matter of us rewiring the system so that testing can happen. Possibly we will be revising much shorter the time of the 14 days. Remember, we said to residents it's 14 days, so it might get to only 5 days.
These no confidence motions were filed by firstly the Freedom Front Plus, the Councillor Bill Harrington, as well as the ACDP's Lance Grootboom. And both failed to pass. Several DA members were absent, while the UDM sole councillor voted with the coalition government. The ACDP and the Freedom Front Plus were relying on votes from the DA because they've got 48 seats, as well as the EFF, who were there 8 seats, and they to remove Lobishe. But in the end, all EFF councillors voted against the motions, except for Siyabulela Musi. He apparently left the meeting before the time, as well as the AIM councillor Kusta Jack, also part of the coalition, left before the motions were tabled. But what is very, very clear here is that the DA decided they're not going to be part of these motions of no confidence. Speaking on the sidelines of council, ACDP councillor Grootboom said the party had been compelled to table the motion after prolonged service delivery failures affecting residents across the metro. So hy moes dit eenvoudig doen, dis wat hy sê. Hy sê hy het nie 'n keuse gehad behalwe om dit te doen nie. He furthermore indicated the collapse of high voltage electricity transmission pylons under this mayor's watch.
The Nelson Mandela Bay has been experiencing electricity crisis for months due to aging infrastructure. The prolonged power outages crippled the businesses and forced residents to incur additional costs for alternative power. The municipality says the time for rotational electricity supply to the affected areas is almost over.
All the stringing has been done, so it's a matter of tightening where there's looseness, and then our officials can start switching on the lights.
And said funds for refurbishing the 132 kV power lines had not been allocated. But we heard a birdie whistle from somewhere that when this council was in front of, this municipal council was in front of a parliamentary council that one of the 5 points that were identified was that this municipality is known, the city council, or whatever you want to call it, is well known for not spending the budget allocated to them. So they're actually underspending. Why? We don't know. But Grootboom also raised concerns about the leasing of the transformer, noting that Lubishe conceded in Parliament last week that the asset had been leased irregularly. So it was an irregular thing. But still, nothing happens about it. What I mean, it's not coming back, assisting this council in curbing electrical power cuts.
Wrong. But we saw also issues around unspent, allocations that could be going to infrastructure maintenance.
We always have been making noise about maintenance and how our maintenance budgets are either not used or they're inadequate. And you find that, for instance, now our maintenance budget at Electricity and Energy Directorate is currently a moving tool. There's no budget that's there for stability in the Electricity and Energy Directorate. You find things like at I&E, for instance, where non-revenue water losses are at over 60%, which means 7,000 plus water leaks are not repaired. Those are some of the issues. And unfortunately, it's issues that if we were serious as a metro would be, dispensed with, would be issues that would be resolved faster. And we try to keep this metro accountable, but unfortunately, numbers are never on our side. And when numbers are not on your side, you lose votes. And we keep losing votes in standing committees. We keep losing votes in councils, even when we submit motions that could help change the trajectory of this city.
So he furthermore stated that the city is not in a good place and there is no intervention to change that. The motion was also intended to test whether opposition parties could unite to install new leadership. But from looking at the outcome, this is not what happened. It was also an opportunity for parties like the DA to participate, but it didn't happen. Grootboom therefore rejects criticism from the DA that smaller parties were attempting to return the ANC to power. Good Party Councillor Lawrence Troon also accused the DA of deliberately sabotaging the no-confidence motions. On Monday, the DA provincial leader Andrew Whitfield, I don't know if you can still remember him, he was gracefully fired or something happened to him, but he is still the DA provincial leader in the Eastern Cape. On Monday, that was just before this happened, DA provincial leader Andrew Whitfield, the one that just gracefully disappeared, but he's still the Eastern Cape's DA provincial leader. He said apparently to Troon that the DA was going to support this motion. What he didn't say was that they were only going to have 7 councillors out of 48. How good is that? According to Troon, the absence of the councillors made it completely impossible for the motion to pass. So all the parties, the smaller parties in this coalition here in Nelson Mandela Bay, they were relying on Big Brother, 48 councillors, the DA, to actually sort of spearhead this thing. But my, oh my, were they surprised. Once again, the DA threw everybody else under the bus. For what reason, I'm not interested in it, but I hope that the voters will remember this in this upcoming municipal election. I really hope they do. what I mean. Because the DA, since they've been in the GNU, they obviously only have one interest, that is feathering their own nest, as well as the ANC. So to come out and say, yeah, but, you know, this would like bring the ANC back into power is absolutely rubbish. What Troon basically says is that they managed to garner 48 votes in favour. If that 7 DA councillors did vote, that number would have increased automatically to 55, and with support from smaller parties, they could have reached 57 and potentially 58. But this was intentionally sabotaged. There was a real possibility of ousting this mayor, but they eventually said, yeah, but, you know, give her another chance till the end of the year when the elections takes place. Now, Nelson Mandela Bay is at the moment in such a state, every day it's actually bleeding. Not only money, but things are getting worse. You can just drive through the streets and look around you, what I mean, and see what happens is as far as basic services are concerned. It is absolutely havoc. I think the DA must stop playing to the gallery. They are the reason the ANC is still in government in this metro. But it's clear that they are happy with the status quo, whatever. What I mean, Alan Zille is charging to become the mayor of Joburg, but that means nothing to us here in Port Elizabeth. It means nothing to us. What I mean, we need drastic change in this municipal council. And the people need services. I think there needs to be a deeper investigation. There's more than meets the eye. There's something very, very fishy about the relationship with the DA and the ANC in this metro. The DA councillor, Gustav Rautenbach, he dismissed the claims by Mr. Troon that they plotted to sabotage the motion. He said we followed due processes by submitting the names of the councillors who took leave of absence at the start of the meeting. Yeah, at the start of the meeting. As it is normal practice. If he wants to come with rumours and stories about us, then the DA is in his head. The Freedom Front Plus councillor Bill Harrington cited concerns over what he describes as a lack of accountability, accusing the mayor of deflecting responsibilities. At every council meeting, apparently, she speaks about accountability, but she blames everybody besides herself. It's the first time, apparently, in the history of this metro that 2 motions of no confidence were brought against the mayor, and both were entertained. Unfortunately, the parties in the structure who are there to actually serve the people, they're not there for that. They're only there to feather their own beds and earn a salary every month. But then, the ANC's PIC cleared Lobisi of any wrongdoing for the controversial matter, that one about the 25 million rand municipal transformer that was leased to Cougar Steels. She says, or she said to the commission, that she acted in the interest of the more than 600 people employed by Cougar Steels, and they would have been laid off or have lost their jobs had the city not to come to its rescue. Therefore, the action had not put the party into disrepute. You want to tell me that a big concerned like Cougar Steels couldn't go and lease a generator, even a bigger one, somewhere else in this country. No. The council came and said, oh, yes, your generator, because we are going to make some money for us on the side. The PIC hearing was chaired by Professor Shepherd Mayetula. He was heard on 5 February, where Lobisi made representations about how the city came to lease the transformer with a council resolution as required. Now, according to the PIC report, Lobisi blamed former acting city manager Ted Pillay for misleading her, leading to her signing the agreement between the city and Cougar Steels. She told the commissioners that she had not been included by Mr. Pillay in the initial correspondence on the leasing of the transformer.
Administratively, in the city, we don't have a permanent city manager at the moment because the one was suspended. So already we are in limbo, which then causes administrative dysfunctionality. And unfortunately, when there is dysfunctionality, when there is no administrator to properly lead, we will always find ourselves in situations where work is not done, or if it is done, it's done inadequately and in a mediocre fashion.
Opposition parties are requesting accountability.
It was the DA that exposed it. Now, what we are saying, when that report is tabled, officials and politicians that are involved in that unlawful action must be brought to book, criminally and also internal processes.
So there she goes, once again, she's off. Yeah, off the pole. Ultimately, I would say the commission found that there was no pending case or investigation against Lubisi. She said it was in the city's interest to maintain stability in the office of the mayor. There you have it. It's as simple as that. She says everybody is short-sighted and political grandstanding from the two councillors. But she says she's not surprised by their attitude because they have been displaying that they're not part of the council, but merely people who are in the council to criticize things that happens in council.
Well, it's a campaign period because the person who's blowing it up is part of the smaller parties in council, and I'm very sure he's blowing it out of proportion, and he's blowing it for discrediting me, which is not what he's going to get.
Does she have a point? I don't know. You tell for yourself. Think about it. We're all people with a brain that can think. But, yeah, coalition politics. I think we're still at the point where we're not big enough for it. We're not adult enough for coalition politics. And the games people play, the games the DA plays, we'll see you. We'll see all of you at the municipal elections. And it's actually time to stop voting with this thing. Vote with this thing. Vote for the people who really wants to make a change for the good. Not the ones that's barking all the time. Yeah. Check out for this, check out for that, and whatever. And then they themselves are hypocrites. They actually support what they're complaining about.